Yes, welcome to lecture 1 about assisted reproductive technologies, and we shall be handling about the reproductive system of farm animals. This is Kulaka Atarik, animal scientist. Lecture 1 shall be basing on the reproductive system of the animals. This is the female, then the male. Then we shall handle the physiological part. This is basing on the functions and then the hormones involved within the reproductive system. Then we shall talk about the puberty in farm animals. Then we also see, but it will be in lecture 2. These assisted reproductive technologies include artificial insemination. For example, like here, you are seeing this is an artificial inseminator who is inseminating this cow on it. We use an artificial insemination gun to inseminate the cow. So under here, we don't serve the female with the bull, and that's natural serving. Here we replace it with an artificial gun. For you to inseminate a cow, you must be knowing the anatomical makeup of the cow. For example, you must be able to allocate the cervix, because when you're inseminating, you must pass your gun through the cervix and you deposit your semen in the uterus. That's why it's important for us to understand the anatomical makeup of these animals. Then we have assisted reproductive technology. The second one is about embryo transfer. Here we have the donor, then we have the recipient. The donor will now give us these oocytes, which are the eggs, the ovum. Then under fertilization, we shall now take the embryo to another mother, which is the recipient mother. Another technology is about cloning, and so far we had the successful cloning in a sheep. We produced a lamb called Dolly, who had the same characteristics like mother. Reproduction is a biological process and involves forming new organisms. It can either be asexual or sexual. Asexual is mostly in plants, whereby they do banding, grafting. Those are asexual, whereby only the genes are obtained from one parent, either a male is obtained from the female or male. Then here in sexual involves two organisms, like the male and the female. They have to combine to produce a new organism. The reproductive anatomy of the farm animals, for example, this is the female reproductive system, then you have the male reproductive system. They are made up of various organs, and each organ plays a various role. So we shall see in details. Under sexual reproduction, we require these sexual reproductive organisms because these produce, for example, the female will produce the ovum, which is the egg cell, then the male will produce the sperm cells. For you to inseminate or to treat a reproductive infection, you must be able to know the reproductive system anatomy and the physiology, and you must know each organ and the function that the hormones involved. For example, the hormones, we have estrogen, we have progesterone, we have inhibin, we have the follicle stimulating hormone, we have the luteinizing hormone, we have the prostaglandins, then we have the gonadotropin releasing hormone, and these are released within different places. For example, we have the hypothalamus, we have the one produced from the ovaries, the corpus luteum, as we shall see, as we shall discuss. The reproductive system of a cow is composed of 6 organs. We have the vulva. This is if you're counting from the outside part, which we call the external genitalia. We always see the vulva, and this is made up of the lips, which we call them the labia minora and labia majora. We have the vestibule still on the vulva. Then we have the clitoris. However much in cows it's not prominent. Then we have the second organ as the vagina. This is where, under natural servicing, the bull deposits its semen in the vagina. But when you're doing AI, we pass the road past the vagina to the cervix, and we deposit the semen within the uterus. We have the cervix. This one helps in preventing bacteria infections or bacteria entering into the cervix, whereby the cervix is always closed. It only opens during heat and during parturition. We have the uterus. This is made up of the uterine body and then the uterine horns. Then we have the ovaries. The ovaries produce the ova. This is how it looks like. The vulva is always outside, and so we always see it. Then you have the vagina inside, whereby you also have the cervix, the uterus, then you have our ovaries. This is the same. From outside, this is what shall we see the vulva made up of the lips, labia minora, labia majora, the vestibuli, and the clitoris. The vulva for it is always thick and dry if the animal is not on heat. Then you have the vagina, because if you're inseminating, you always take your rod always upward first, because if you take it downward, you end up entering into the gallbladder, into the urinary bladder, which is towards the urine. So you always take up the your rod, then you can continue as you pass through cervix to the uterus, then you can deposit your semen. You have the cervix. As you see, it's made up of rings, and these rings vary in number based on the species. For example, cows have 3 to 4, then sheep have 6 to 7. We have the ovaries, which produce the ovum, and they also produce estradiol, which is estrogen. Then they also produce the progesterone. This is now the prostaglandins. This is now the corpus luteum, which now produce the progesterone. You have the uterus, and this uterus for it produces the prostaglandins. Then you have the uterine horns. Then you have the oviduct, where fertilization takes place. This is how the reproductive system will look like. This is for a cow, and you shall see the horns are always in pair, the oviduct also in pair, then the ovaries. Then on the ovaries, you also have here, like here, this is now the ovum. Then they have the yellow body, which is now the corpus luteum. Depending, it can occur after ovulation. You have the bifunction, which divides the horns. Then here, it's now the cervix, then the vagina. The female reproductive system is held in place by the broad ligament. This broad ligament is composed of the muscle ovarium, the muscle metrium, then the muscle alpinix. The muscle ovarium supports the ovaries, the muscle alpinix supports the oviduct, then the muscle metrium supports the uterus. So this broad ligament, it provides attachment to the peritoneum. Then the reproductive system is held on one side by the muscles of the vagina, the vulva, and the vestibuli. For example, we have the constrictor vestibuli, then the constrictor vulvae. Those are the muscles that held this reproductive system. This is the suspensory ligament that we're talking about, that is always blood. This suspensory organs, still it supplies the blood vessels. It has blood vessels that supply the reproductive system. Then it also has the nerves that supply the reproductive system. Then it also has the lymphatic drainage. That's the major purpose. And you see that the system is suspended in the abdominal cavity by the broad ligament, and is held by muscles and ligament of the vagina and the vulva. And we have given 2 examples of those muscles. We have the constrictor vulvae, then the constrictor vestibuli. For example, this is how it is. This is the reproductive system, but it has been held by the broad ligament, which is attached to the peritoneum. Then this side, this system is attached by muscles. The first organ of the female reproductive system is the vulva, and this is how it looks like. It's composed of the clitoris, and in cows it's so prominent because it's covered by the vestibuli. You have the vestibuli, then you have the labia, which are the lips, and these are always 2. You have the labia minora, the labia majora. The function of the vulva is to receive the pains during copulation. The second organ is the vagina. This is a site where semen is deposited under natural surfacing, whereby if a bull mounts, it will deposit its semen within the vagina. But if you're using the rod, we always pass the vagina. For example, like here, you have to pass the vagina, then you enter into, you pass through the foldings of the cervix as you deposit your semen in the uterus. The vagina connects the external genitalia, which is the vulva, to the cervix. This is how it looks like, and this is the external cervical os. Then you have the fornix. This is the whole of the vagina it looks like. You have the cervix. The cervix is always an area between the vagina and the uterus, It's made up of annual rings, and these vary. For example, say in cattle, they are only 3 to 4. In goats, they are 5 to 6. Then in sheep, they are 6 to 7. The purpose of the cervix is mainly it's a barrier to bacteria, because the cervix, it only opens 2 times. When the animal is on heat and it needs to be serviced, then during labor. This is how the annual rings look like. You can see the foldings and the little foldings. Then in cattle, it's 3 to 4, goats 5 to 6, and sheep it's 6 to 7. The other organ is the uterus. Uterus is made up of the uterine body and the uterine horns. And here it's where development of the embryo takes place, whereby within the uterus we also have the carancles. These carancles, they are always attached to the inner wall of the uterus. We have in cows, it is prominent, it has those 2 horns, but in sows, it has the horns but lacks the body. Then in human, we have the body but we lack the horns. This is, I'm talking for the side of the female, but the females don't have this system. The function of the uterus is 1, to expel the fetus during birth. Then it supports the embryo during development through the maternal placenta, whereby the placenta is where the fetus or the embryo will always get its nutrients. This is how the uterus looks like, the uterine body. Then these are the 2 horns. Then here there's a bifunction. Here we have the rings within the cervix, and the cervix also makes what we call the cervical plug. So you must pass through these rings before you deposit. This is how the carancles that are attached on the uterus. And this is, for example, this is the placenta. But if you remove the placenta, this is how these carancles look like. Where the placenta and then where the placenta is attached to the carancles, the placenta has the cotyledons which are attached to the carancles. And if the combination of the carancle and then the placenta, we call it the placetomy. The other organ is the oviduct, and the oviduct is sometimes called the fallopian tube. This is where fertilization takes place. The oviduct is made up of the uterotubular junction, then it's made up of the isthmus, then the ampli. It takes 3 to 4 days for an egg to move from the ovary to the fallopian tube. Here it will pass through days, 3 to 4 days. The function of the oviduct is 1, it helps in sperm storage, then capacitation, then movement the egg. For example, like here, this oviduct is made up of the cilia, because you know the cells which have the cilia, the lining here, they are made up of cilia, and this enables the movement of the egg. Oviduct is the site of fertilization. The other organ is the ovaries. The ovaries, 1, produces hormones like estrogen, which is sometimes called estradiol, then the progesterone. It is the site of gamete formation, and these ovaries, after ovulation, the remaining follicular tissue forms the corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum produces the progesterone. Corpus luteum sometimes named as the yellow body. This is how the follicles look like. Then this is the corpus luteum, which is the yellow body and produces progesterone. In the case of ovulation, then there is no pregnancy, the corpus luteum will regress, then the production levels of progesterone will decrease. But in case there is pregnancy, it will persist and progesterone levels will be high, and the animal will not be able to come back on heat. In poultry, it has 2 ovaries, but only 1 ovary, which is the left, which is functioning. The ovaries are of various shapes, because we say the reproductive system of cows is similar to other animals, but with differences in shape of the ovary, uterus, and the cervix. We see that in sheep, which is in almost cattle, it's in almost shape. Then in horses, it's in bean shape. The ovary is bean shaped. Then in pigs, it's mulberry shape. This is how the ovary looks like. Then that's all about the anatomical part of the female reproductive system. Then if we talk about the male reproductive system, it's made up of various organs. For example, we have the epidermis where the sperm is stored. We have the testes where we have the Sertoli cells and then the Leydig cells. And here is where the spermatogenesis takes place. Spermatogenesis is the formation of the male sperms or the male cells. This is the sperms are made in the testes. You have the scrotum, and this one protects the testes, because remember, in animals like in cattle, even we in men, the scrotum is always hanging. It's outside the abdominal cavity, because the temperature that's required for sperm cells to be formed is always below 4 to 5 degrees Celsius. We also have various organs. We have the vas deferens, and here it's where the manufactured sperms pass through during ejaculation. Then we have the epidermis, which one stores the sperms. We have the penis, which is the male copulator organ. We also have the corpus gland, and this one helps in cleaning the urethra. We have the prostate gland, the seminal vesicles. That's all. This is like a clear diagram on how it is. This is just some colored, like each organ first we can identify. This is the same thing. We can say like now this one, the light blue, this is the retractor muscle, and so it helps in contraction and then relaxation of this penis, and it gives it the sigmoid shape during copulation. We have prostatic gland. We have the seminal vesicles. These ones add glucose and this is fructose, citric acid to the sperm cells. We have the lecithin. This is where it passes. The first part is now the scrotum, like you are seeing here. This is a bull, but the scrotum are hanging. So you say that the temperature to which these sperm cells are formed are always below 4 degrees. This is how a sperm cell looks like. The head, the tail, then it has the flagella. First it has the flagella. The scrotum is always outside. It's just an outside sac where it holds the testes. We have the testes, like you can see here. The testes, you say, it contains the Sertoli cells and then the Leydig cells. For example, we have the follicle-stimulating hormone will lead to the production of luteinizing hormone, and this luteinizing hormone will now react on the Leydig cells, and these Leydig cells will stimulate the production of testosterone, will produce testosterone, and this testosterone promotes spermatogenesis. The follicle-stimulating hormone will react to now the Sertoli cells, and this will promote spermatogenesis. The purpose of the testes is to produce the sperms and then they secrete the male steroid hormone, which is testosterone. The epidermis, it's the coil, like we could see here. These are coiled. This is where these are the epidermis. They are coiled. So the epidermis is long coiled tubes, and they help in storage of the sperm cells. We have the vas deferens, like this is the yellow one, like you see this tube, it's a long tube. It connects from the epidermis, it's long here. And this one helps in transport of the sperm cell from the urethra, from the epidermis to the urethra. This is how the vas deferens looks like. We have the urethra, and you see that from the vas deferens, it's connected to the urethra. And this urethra helps in the transport of the sperm cell during ejaculation. You have the penis. This is the male copulator organ, and it helps convey urine and then semen. We have the retractor muscle, and this retractor muscle we talked about that helps in extension and retraction of the penis and gives it the sigmoid flexure during copulation. We have accessory organs within the male reproductive system, and these are mainly 3. You have the prostatic gland, you have the corpus gland, which is sometimes called the bulbourethral, and then we have the last one being the seminal vesicles. The prostatic gland, this one is located at the neck of the bladder, and what it does, it helps in the medium of transport, provides the medium of transport of the sperm cells, it cleans the urethral too. Then during ejaculation, this is how the bulbourethral, what its role, it's sometimes called the corpus gland. It also helps in cleaning urethra prior to semen transportation. The seminal vesicle provides fructose. That's all about this lecture 1, and it has been about the reproductive system of farm animals, basically cows and cattle. We used a bull, then we used a cow, because we said the reproductive system of a cow resembles other reproductive system, the female reproductive system of other animals, except just the sizes vary within the ovary, uterus, and it shall meet in lecture 2, and we shall discuss about the hormones that are within the reproductive system. We shall talk about estrous cycle. Thanks. Till next day.